How was the question? Difficult. Difficult.
Very questions and full of two options.
Let's see that. Question number 1.
B.
She said C, you said B. What's yours? C. And question number 2.
Who is A?
And okay, let me give you some idea about this assumptions and logic. So what do you mean by assumption?
Without evidence. Statements that have
Reasons, right? The meaning of assumption is called as you assume. What do you assume? Now whatever the reason is given, why that reason, whatever the argument is given, why that argument is given, right? So what is the evidence that is necessary or that are necessary for that particular argument, isn't it? So on the basis of that, we will find out any kind of a statement which will support to that argument, isn't it? That can be called as an assumption. But remember that the assumption is not given in the statement. If it is given, then it is known as the premises. Got my point? When you look into the first question, so some said C, some said D, right? Let's see that. What does it point out? If you talk about the statement talks about what? Corporates must work with their legal teams to figure out how to satisfy the increased appetite consumers will have to increased appetite. Consumers will have for information on where and how products are made, the safety considerations implemented for employees and how products are distributed and handled. These new and more transparent claims should be easy to access and available at each relevant stage in the consumer journey. If marketers begin to do this work now, they will be in a much better position to quickly implement this information using paid and organic search and on brand or e-commerce sites, social channels, customer relation management, communications, packaging and in-store signage. Now this statement stated about what? Stated about that consumers need information, isn't it? So, and for that, corporate must work on it, isn't it? The paragraph also stated about that corporate must transparent. Claims should be easy to access and available at each relevant stage in the consumer journey. Right. On the basis of this particular statement, the question is asked: the marketing analysis or analyst prediction relies on which one of the following assumption? So it means the marketing analyst prediction. So what are their predictions? So they want to sell their product, right? How better they sell their product. So if they go for the means transparent with the consumers, right or not? Now how do they means make transparent with the consumers when they get the means clear details, isn't it? Now did you see that when you put the one argument, you find out one of the reason behind, and that reason is known as assumptions, isn't it? So when we say that the marketing analyst prediction relies on which one of the following assumption, so because consumers expectation is greater transparency, right, from the brands about where their products are made and how they are handled. So if once consumers get the transparency on the kind of brands they purchase, so definitely their sale will be developed, right or not? So in that case we will go for the option C. If we look into the option D, option D is stated about traditional marketing tempos like seasons and holidays will now carry an emotional weight. Now this doesn't consider as the assumption. This is indicating that traditional marketing. But whereas the statement stated about that corporate must deal with the transparency. Why they must deal with the transparency? Because consumers wishes for it, right? Isn't it? So then we can consider option C will be better. Option D stated about traditional marketing, which is nowhere relate to that particular one, right? Okay. Question number 2.
So why not B, because B stating whatever in the passage they are basically saying that what marketers now need to do is implement this information using paid and organization and on-brand for e-commerce site, social channels, customer relationship, communication, packaging, and in-store signage. He is saying what marketers knew about their customers' behavior, lifestyle, and practice will change.
Will possibly change.
Yeah,
Now-
customers are now expecting information from the corporate itself about transparency.
Now, observe the whole statement's main theme. What is the the main statement which is given above, right? What is the main theme of it?
Transparency.
Isn't it? So transparency. And if you talk about option B stated what marketers knew about their consumers. Right. Now again you are talking about marketers' point of view. Right. So marketers knew about their consumers' behavior, lifestyle and priorities will possibly change. But the main statement stated that why corporates want to go for the transparency. They want to go for the transparency because consumers want to know their brands and complete details about their brands. Right? If they don't want to go for those of the transparency, then they will not to buy those of the products. Isn't it? So therefore we go for the option C, which can be known as the assumption to the argument. Am I clear with this? Okay. Coming to the question number 2. Will it be option A?
Maybe A or D.
A and D. So it means there is a kind of a confusion. Right. Now look into that. The main statement stated under international law there is a general prohibition on the use of force articulated in Article 2/4 of the UN Charter. The article prohibits any use of force by members against the territorial integrity or political dependence of a state. But the US carried out drone strikes killing Iranian General Qasem Soleimani near Baghdad. Now this statement stated about an article. That article prohibits what? That any use of force members against the territorial integrity or political dependence of a state. It means you cannot enter anyone's territorial and attack. Isn't it? It is against the, what do we say? Article 2/4. Isn't it? Got my point? है कि नहीं? तो इसका मतलब ये है कि आप किसी के एरिया में घुस के उसको अटैक नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि वो मींस आर्टिकल के अगेंस्ट में जा रहा है, ठीक है कि नहीं? तो बट एट द सेम टाइम यू फाइंड आउट एन एग्जांपल. द एग्जांपल इज ऑल अबाउट नथिंग बट द US carried out drone strikes killing one of the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani near Baghdad. Now, which of the following is consistent with the above statement? Now, in that case, you would consider that means US did not go against the article, right, and kill the person. So, how did and when did it happen? So, you could say that if the US is in its own territorial, right, or own geographical place and attack to the person, so it is not breaking to the rule of Article 2/4. When you are presenting in your own territorial, you are not entering anyone's territory. लेकिन आप किसी के एरिया में घुसे नहीं हो, लेकिन आप किसी को मीन्स अटैक किया और उसको मीन्स you can say that assassination or you can say that you kill to that person, right? But you kill to that person in your own territory. Let's talk about that the border issue. right? No one enters into others' territory, right? What do? They attack from their own border, isn't it? That doesn't go against the Article 2 by 4, no? So, because the question is which of the following is it consistent with the above statement? If I go with the above statement, so we find out that US carried out a drone strike killing to the Iranian general person Soleimani near Baghdad. So if it attacks, right, in its own territory, then it doesn't go against the Article 2 by 4. So, but if I go with the option D said the US drone attacks deserve censure, right? So the meaning of censure is called as a ban, right or not? Now here you are giving a kind of a solution or judgment, right? But option A is indicating that US did not do any kind of a wrong. It did not go against the Article 2 by 4. It simply attacked to the person in its own territory. So in that case, it did not go against the Article 2 by 4 and it has killed the person. So in that case, you can say the option is clearly consistent with the statement which is presented above.
But sir, it says US carried out drone strike against that itself is a violation.
No. It is stated that articulated in Article 2 by 4 of the UN Charter that there is a general prohibition that article prescribes any use of force by member against force by members against, right, the territorial integrity or political dependence, right or not? So of a state. So it means you attack to anyone, right? But you attack to anyone in its own territory.
They're doing drone strike is an Iranian territory. Baghdad is in Iran.
So, but what if means the drone strike happened in its own territory? मतलब अमेरिका जो ड्रोन स्ट्राइक किया वो अपने एरिया में किया, मतलब अपने एरिया से ही बॉम्बिंग किया। हाँ, तो अपने एरिया से किया तो means
but the drone is in Iran, so that counts as a violation.
Then how would you consider that?
I think sir that the last statement says US carried out drone strikes killing Iranian general near Baghdad. And option is
तो उसी हिसाब से तो सारे कंट्री जो इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान violating. How they are doing the drone strike on their own border, own territory.
But in response, but in the passage it's given article prescribes any use of force members against any use of force by members against the territorial integrity of or political defenses of the state. That is a general prohibition. That is what they are saying.
You cannot go to their territory and they attack them.
So that itself is stating that every country has absolute right over its own territory. US what they are doing, that is not because information also is not given. Whether US and Iran, more context is not given. Iran's
But
situation.
it is given about the US carried out drone strikes, right? So that gives nothing but an example, isn't it? Whether and we need to find out that the option which will indicate that whether US enters their territory and attacks them or not, right? If it enters their territory and attacks them, then it is violating the international law, right or not? If it does not enter their territory and attack them, then it cannot be called as a violating, no? So means like other countries, it also means attacks the other country or means other person in its own territory, right? So therefore it can be go with the what means Article 2 by 4 and it did not violate the article here. Are you getting my point? The correct answer is option A. So and why did I go against the option D? Because option D is stated that you are censuring US drone attacks, right? So which cannot be called as a consistent. Here, because here you are not giving the region whether they are violating or not violating. Whether you are violating or not violating. So, but option A is stating that not violating, right? So, which is consistent with the statement given above. Option D is only giving the judgment, and it is stating that ये violate कर रहा है, इसीलिए means इसका judgment यही होना चाहिए कि it should be censured. Got my point? But for that you need to show it first that whether it has violated or not violated. So option A is stated not violated, right? If it is stated violating, then option D would be the next one. That the judgment. Hey, ki nahi? Are you getting my point, guys? Okay. Coming to the question number 3. What do we find out in the option 3? So option 3 is a D. Option D is the answer. Please do ask me if you have a doubt in this. Question number 4. It should be C.
D, 3 is D.
3 is D. Then. 4 is a C. There is a doubt in question number 4? Okay. And you too? Any doubt in question 3 and question 4? No? Okay. Question 5, option A. Question 6, option B. B for very coach. 7 is C. No doubt in 6 and 7? Okay. 8?
C.
8 is C. Ask me if you have a doubt.
AC.
8 is C. 9 is D as well. 10 is option A.
Here is 10. It says that.
What is your answer?
My answer, I had a guess between B and D, and out of that, B seems a stronger option. D. Because it's saying, in support of which of the following does X state that improving college going rate is not merely an aspirational goal? That means it acknowledges that it is an aspirational goal, but also they have made the point that education serves as the first line of the what X says is higher education is the only thing that mitigates
intergeneration poverty.
Education serves as a ladder for higher social status. People with a college degree are more likely to own homes and live happier and healthier lives.
How many of you go for the option B?
Hence, improving college going rates is not an aspirational goal, but an economic imperative. So, here the point A is being made by Y, that
The poor are deprived of
poor
higher
are actually
education.
deprived of higher education. Education is mostly being used by upper.
Okay, let me go for this question 8 and question 10. So, what does the argument say? Higher education is the only thing that reduces intergeneration poverty. Education serves as a ladder for a higher social status. People with a college degree are more possible to own their homes and live happier and healthier lives. Therefore, it is conclude improving college going rates is not an aspirational goal but an economic impotence. right? So we draw the idea called as a means education is nothing but called as a economic impotence, not the aspirational goal, isn't it? Uh, Now, option Y also stated in that while college graduates or college graduation rates have risen over the past 3 decades for middle and upper income families, those from lower income families have barely seen any improvement and inequality remains as entrenched as ever. If I go with the question 10, in support of which of the following does X state that improving college going rates is not merely an aspirational goal, right? So which of the following does X state that improving college going rates is not merely an aspirational goal? If I talk about option A, it is stated the poor are deprived of higher education, but doesn't indicate that deprived of higher education makes that region of not merely an aspirational goal, right? Option B is stated education contributes to economic well-being. Yeah, option B seems the most appropriate. The poor are deprived of higher education, that again college are not supporting, right? That is college as a between 11, option B.
11 is yes, option
B. Bombay. Okay.
So what is the meaning of ameliorate?
Ameliorate, right? That's something called as a friendly to the lot of the poor.
Positive.
Positive. So, but at the same time, you find out that the word called as am, isn't it? Amicable, amity, amiability, ameliorate, right? So am means friendly or togetherness. So that is why. Okay. Direction for question number 12 to 15. So 12 is option C, 13 is option D. Good. 14 is option A. 15 is option D. Then
It says which of the following is an assumption that is entertained either by proponents or by opponents of abortion, but not by both of them. People who oppose abortion are not likely to be religious. Oppose abortion are not likely to be religious. People who support abortion are not likely to argue.
Option B.
Yes, I get it.
option B. Now here it is stating about what proponents and opponents, isn't it? So proponents are the people who accept mother's freedom, isn't it? They wish that what abortion should be present or abortion should be there. Opponents said that what means abortion should not be there, right? Because everyone has the life, isn't it? But both have only one thing. What is that? That is called as a religious or religion. Though proponents are the non-believer of religion, isn't it? Whereas the opponents are religious, isn't it? So in that case, if you say which of the following is an assumption that is entertained either by proponents or by opponents of abortion. If you look into that, proponents and opponents, those who are going for the or against the abortion, so they do have one of the common thing, but not both by them, right? Not by both of them. So what is that? One is called as a religion. So those who are proponents, so they support the mother's, right? Mother's freedom. At the same time, they are not religious, right? Whereas opponents who are means opposing to the abortion and they are religious, isn't it? So one of the thing which is support, right? One of the thing which is support but not by both of them. But not by both of them, isn't it? What is that? One is called as a means supporting to the religion. One is called as another one is called as a not supporting to the religion. But both are involved in the abortion case. Hey, try to understand the keyword of the question. The keyword of the question is stated that now both are then involved in the argument of the abortion. One of the option which will support, not to both by them, right? So religion is there, which is not supported by both of them, right? So not supported by means one that follows to the abortion, one that doesn't follow to the abortion. In that case, you could find out option A and option B. Both are stating the true here. Got my point? So option 1 stated people who oppose abortion are not possibly to be religion, which is true, right? Can be assumed. So option B, people who support abortion are not likely to argue for feminine liberty. It is also true and it can be assumed also. Got the point? Question number 16. Is it A? 17. Is it B? 18. Is it D? Delhi?
It is B.
19 is D? Delhi?
B.
D. Delhi.
Not B.
Now, 20 is A?
B.
21 is B? A? 22. A? 23 is B? 24 is A? 25 B. Yep. About it. Was it easy? You gave all the answers correct.
I had a few doubts. 18, 21, 22. Those are double options. 10 double options.
Any other doubts? You two?
20.
20. From 15 to 20, any other doubts? 15 to 20. You said 18, no?
No. 19.
19. No other doubts? Okay. So what does 19 point out? 19 says a new scientific theory suggests that time doesn't run just one way and that there is another mirror universe. It means the author wanted to point out that there are two universes, right? On the basis of the region point out means time doesn't just run in a one way, it has another way, right? So where time runs backwards, as the Big Bang happened, it sent off another universe. The mirror image of arcs with the arrow of time running the other way. The current theory suggests that entropy, the force of the universe that implies that it tends to get more disordered over time, also moves time forwards. Since the universe began as an ordered thing and as it gets more disorganized and so does time. Now on the basis of the paragraph we can draw the idea that called as a time runs in a two ways, right? So and it also stated about on the basis of that we can draw the idea called as there is one more universe which is a mirror, which have a mirror image, isn't it? Now on the basis of that, the question is asked, which of the following statements it difficult to prove, right, problematizes the theory. So the theory is based on the what? Means there are two universes on the basis of the time, right? Now if I point out that, or if I make a kind of a statement which will go against that there is no two time, or what is it, there is no two universe, then definitely it becomes difficult for the means whom the experts to prove the theory that there are two means universe because of the time. If I point out that now option D stated another universe could be created flowing in the direction opposite to ours, right? And here it is stated that all these options, the future is very different from the past. If you say the future is very different from the past, it means you are talking about two different universes present. It supports the theory. So option B said the universe was ordered at its beginning, right? So the paragraph also stated that there is a disorder. The paragraph stated in somewhere, no? That
the paragraph stated after explaining the theory, is
since the universe began as an ordered thing, as it gets more disorganized, so does time.
yeah, they saying current theory suggests that entropy force of the universe that implies that tends to get more disordered over time.
Over time.
Also drives time forward. This is the cause that time is moving forward. Since the universe began as an ordered thing, as it gets more disorganized,
so does time.
so does time. So if the initial thing that the universe began as an ordered thing, that only we can't prove. Then we can't prove that it gets disordered over time. Then we can't prove time goes forward. Then we can't. Then the whole theory breaks down.
But if you talk about the universe was ordered at its beginning, so that is what we
That
can
is only difficult to prove that.
we can find out in the paragraph itself, no? क्योंकि यहाँ पे as the Big Bang happened, right? So it sent off another universe, the mirror image of ours. It means you are pointing that there are two universes already here present. At the initial statement, पहले statement में क्या लिखा है?
उसके बाद they said the current theory suggests that because of
Entropy.
that theory, they are saying that the entropy
The force of the universe.
gets more disordered. Current theory suggests that the entropy force of the
Universe.
that is the current theory.
Hmm.
What the new theory is suggesting is in the first lines.
Where do you find out new theory? It is stated the current
New
theory.
scientific theory suggests. New one suggests that time goes backward as well. Current theory suggests because of entropy, time goes
The
forward.
force of the universe that implies that it tends to get more disordered over time.
And because of that, time goes forward.
So in that case, you are talking about a contrast between what? Ordered and disordered. Ordered and disordered. But that doesn't suggest that there are not two universes.
Yeah, but they are asking which is difficult to prove.
Difficult
This
to
only is difficult to prove. What
if
you
you-
know is difficult to prove.
But
then
if you point out that another universe could be created flowing in the direction opposite to ours, right? अगर ये statement prove करना difficult हो जाए कि there is no another universe which could be created flowing in the direction opposite to ours, then it is difficult for you or for the experts to say that what there are two universes or there are two time.
also B, if even if B is correct, that will make it difficult to prove the current theory, not the theory. that-
Not the theory which is suggested earlier.
The
Right.
theory.
So D is nothing but indicating to the main part of it. Okay, you means you cannot say that there is another universe, right? Okay, what is the next one? 20. What is given in the 20? Which of the following is an assumption made in drawing the conclusion above? Okay. Now, what is it pointed? Given India's size, population and preoccupations, our public argument focuses entirely on domestic narratives. When they intersect, international developments are seen as rude, almost arbitrary or called as a despotism or called as an autocratic involvement into our lives. Right. So our lives means what? That international does something, it tries to forces it forces into the Indians. Isn't it? That is what it tries to say. So almost arbitrary intrusions into our lives, but the outside world is now more an opportunity and a partner and less the threat and donor it used to be. Our new mindset required to be one of confident engagement and risk management, not defensiveness. Moreover, India has the wherewithal to be less finicky about complying with international rules when they come in the way of national interest. By no means is this a case for India to be a wholesale rule breaker, but it does suggest that our negotiators need not spend excessive amounts of time hammering our perfect clauses. Right? Now here you would find out two things are there. One is called as international and the other one is called as India. So what international is trying to do? International try to put its arbitrary or monopoly ideas into India, right? So we need to find out that, but India doesn't follow, afraid of it, and India doesn't also access to or accept that monopoly also. So India has the wherewithal to be less finicky about complying with international rules when they come in the way of national interest. When it comes to the India's own national interest, it doesn't care about the international rules, isn't it? So by no means is this a case for India to be a wholesale rule breaker. So if you do not obey if you do not comply with the international rules, it means you are breaking the rule of the international, isn't it? So, but it does suggest that our negotiators means called as international, right? So need not spend excessive amounts of time hammering out perfect clauses, right? So try to break our perfect clauses. So in that case, which of the following is an assumption made in drawing the conclusion above? So if you look at the option A stated there is an international narrative running parallel to India's domestic narrative, right? So this clearly indicating that both are going into a kind of a same direction. Isn't it? Both are going into the same direction. So that's why India doesn't care about international rule, or you can say that international rule should not be waste its time by putting its rules into India, isn't it? So therefore, A is nothing but called as a kind of a parallel thought, which can be assumed. So दोनों का interest same ही है and दोनों same ideology पे चल रहे हैं. So that is why option A. आपका आंसर कौन सा था? You did not attempt that. Okay, 21.
21 my answer was that aging economy will be slower and more unequal one.
Okay, option A. Right? Okay, so what does it point out? Mandatory retirement ages and pension rules that discourage people from working longer should go. At the same time, the importance of increasing public investment in education at all stages of life should be underlined so that more people acquire the skills they need to thrive or fight in the modern labor market. Today, many governments are understandably loath to spend money in retraining older folk who are likely to retire soon. But if people can work for longer, that investment makes much more sense. Deadbeat 60-year-olds are not possibly to become computer scientists, but they could learn useful vocational skills such as caring for the growing number of very old people. So in that case, the whole statement presents the main thing is called as we shall not go for the mandatory retirement age and pension schemes, isn't it? So the author stated that we shall not make the people to retire from the kind of a job they have done or they are doing. So on the basis of what? On the basis of age. So in that case, what is the assumption it should be? Age should not be considered as the means appropriate end of a working life, isn't it? But if you go to the A said an aging economy will be slower and more unequal one. Now here you are contrasting to the author's position. Author stated that what means age should not be considered as the means determined part for retiring someone from his job or getting the pension, isn't it? Now understood that 62 is the age or 65 is the age when a person retires from his job, isn't it? Or for that after that he or she gets the pension. Hey,
But
so
to believe that age should no longer determine the appropriate
end of a working life.
One has to believe that if in the economy most people are in an aging economy, if in a country more old people are there and they are not working, economy will get slower and
more unequal.
Because the young will be working and the old people will be getting the tax benefit.
So, but that's again indicating a what? When we look at the option statement, the statement is stated about what? A kind of an argument. The argument is limited, right? The argument doesn't talk about what is going to happen in the future. If you talk about what is going to happen in the future, right, that becomes the conclusion or solution. Conclusion or solution, or what is a kind of a threatening one. If I go to the option A is indicating as a solution. But here our job is to find out the assumption that why does it is stated that what retirement age and pension rules discourage people from working longer should go, right? And it is also stated about that means why the author stated that retirement age should not be there or pension should not be given, means pension rules that discourage people should not be there, right? So, and why retirement age and pension rules are applicable? Pension rules and retirement age is applicable because of what? On the basis of the age, right? So, if I make a kind of a comment or if I give a kind of a reason that Gordon's age should not be considered as the determine the appropriate end of a working life, so people will enjoy their means work and they will not have the fear of retiring and thinking about the pension. But A is stated that what will happen if retirement age will be there and also pension rules are applicable. So, isn't it? Okay, question number 22, 23, 24, no doubt, 25, doubts. Okay, so what is it pointed? Which among the given option best completes the passage given below? It's a para-completion question. In para-completion question, what do we need to observe? We need to find out the sentence which is connecting to the penultimate sentence, right? So, but for that we need to observe that what is the statement's main theme. So the statement said the global financial crisis of 8 and 9 revealed to China that the fragility or the weakening of the present system and the extent to which its own finances are beholden to America. Perhaps 2/3 of its nearly 4 trillion worth of foreign exchange reserves are in dollars. Chinese economists argue that over time, America will reduce its debt burden through inflation, weakening the dollar, and here we are talking about America and China, no? And their currency. So if you find out that means 2/3 of its nearly 4 trillion worth of foreign exchange reserves are in dollars. right? And Chinese economists argue that over time, America will reduce its debt burden through inflation, weakening the dollar. So, and it will definitely impact upon the Chinese currency, isn't it? Now, if it impacts to the Chinese currency, so and you find out that American dollar is getting nothing but a weakening, and also means you would find out debt burden through inflation. So Chinese currency, what will happen to the Chinese currency?
That will also fall.
That will also fall, right or not? So in that case, we can say that costing China in a fortune, right? But if you observe that option ACD, option A said giving China a windfall, right? Now that again indicating about giving China a windfall means, does it refer to the currency?
The windfall, what does it mean? Is it a positive thing? Like
Uh,
plummet or does it?
No, I could say that plunge in the social aspect. You can also talk about economical aspect, right? Or you can talk about any of the general aspect, right? So when I say that giving China a windfall, right, that's something called as the way China is rising, so will go down, right? But in a generic sense, it doesn't specify that economic sense. Are you getting my point? So if option B is costing China a fortune, is something indicating about that in economical sense, China will get a nothing but a kind of a lucky year, right? Why it is lucky year? Now because if you find out that America's dollar getting weakened, so because here it is given at the beginning also, the global financial crisis 89 revealed to China the weakening of the present system and the extent to which its own finances are beholden to America. So its currency is connected to the America. So if America's currency means getting down, right, definitely China will get a kind of a lucky year. China's currency is also means will go down, right or not? So on the basis of that, we can say option C will be the connecting to it. And even the penultimate statement is stated about American dollars. The whole statement makes a kind of a comparison between American dollar and China's yen. So therefore, China's yen too. What is China's currency?
Yuan.
Yuan. So I think Japan is yen. Yen. So in that case, costing China a fortune here. So if I look into the option C said resulting in a mixed blessing. Right. Means America and China both will nothing but call as a lucky year. Right. But if you observe that here the penultimate sentence doesn't connect to the option C, because penultimate sentence is stated about only means America's future, right? But after that when it is used and, it indicates that not only America but also China's yuan, right, will get the kind of a means kind of a fortune, right? So in that case, after that you can point out both of the things resulted in a mixed blessing. तभी जाके आप कह सकते हो. Option D, making China a financial power, that's a far-fetched, because once America gets into a kind of a position, China will get into another position, right or not? So then after we will find out a kind of a mixed blessing, and then we can talk about China will reach to the higher end or lower end, isn't it? So hence we can go with the immediate answer which connect to the paragraph which called as option B, right? Any other question? No other question? 841. Okay, question number 8. Question number 8. You did correct? You? Correct. Yes? Not correct. Not attempted. So, what question number 8 is stated, it tells about the gays right. So, what does it say? On the face of it, the corporate world has hold gay rights with full of interest, right? More than 90% of Fortune 500 companies, right? That called as the topmost companies, they have policies to stop homophonic discrimination. Homophonic discrimination means called as the same sound discrimination, right? So they have policies to stop homophonic discrimination. In-house networks for homosexual staff such as Glam, Gays and Lesbian at McKinsey and Google's gay glares have become part of the corporate furniture. So look beyond the welcome signs, however, and the picture is not so good. So the statement is clearly indicating about from the top to the bottom, right, until the last sentence. It is stated that means corporates are right accepting the gay rights and they give they give the equal opportunity to the gay people, isn't it? They give the equal opportunity to the gay people. But last line is stated, the picture is not so good. It means the author makes a doubt on it, right? So the corporates, the 500 fortunes who are supporting to the gay rights, right? So they pointed that we follow all the things or equal rights for the gay people. But the last line is creating a doubt that the picture is not so good. What do you mean by that? It means whatever it is stated, there is a kind of a lacuna or suspicious, right, parties present. Isn't it? Now, if I go to the question, here the most important thing is called as a means understanding the question. The question said, all of the following, if true, helps to or help to explain the apprehension. So, the first keyword is called as apprehension in the argument, except. So, two things, apprehension and except, right? So, what do you mean by apprehension? Hesitation. What do you find out, or what is the hesitation that you find out? Now, whatever the culprits are saying, there is a doubt in it. So, that is called as apprehension, right or not? So, except is you what? Now, all the options that you find out, which will support to the apprehension. But one option is there, which is not supporting to the apprehension, could be something else. Isn't it? So, on the basis of that, if I go to the option A said none of the Fortune 500 has a single openly gay CEO. Now, that is nothing but the reason of means apprehension, one of the reason. Option B, many younger employees feel that or fear that coming out of the closet will hurt their chances in a fiercely competitive labor market, right? So, in that case, here also you would find out there is a kind of a discrimination or for which they do have the fear, right? Agree? Many younger employees fear. The word fear itself is indicating that there is a something means in corporate sector which is not good. So, option D said gay rights complicate globalization, right? So, it means again you are stating about gay rights which is means the whole world is in a complicated situation. So, you are simply taking the gay rights as a negative one. So, the world is dividing into an even more gay friendly West and the 77 countries still outlaw homosexual act between consenting adults. It means it is trying to tell us that it is a complicated issue and 77 countries still has not accepted this gay rights. Isn't it? Or they may women accept this in future. It means there is a huge gap. Got my point? So A, B, D are creating the apprehension that the things which are stated by the corporate sectors, right, are not the truth. Right, there is a something means opposite in that picture, right? But option C stated work is a place where people go to earn a living rather than to bear their souls, right? You go to corporate sector for job, not for talking about your equal rights, right? So in that case, option C is something which is not creating apprehension, but means weakening to the gains. Even you can't say also it's a weakening. It is something irrelevant in nature, right or not? It simply stated that we go to the office for working purpose, not for any other purpose, isn't it? So that's what is a kind of a odd one out or except one. Am I clear with this? Okay. Any other question where your doubt could be? No? या अबॉर्शन वाला स्टेटमेंट समझ में आ गया? How many you have done correct? All? What are the one's accuracy? Five are correct.
Wrong.
No, five wrong.
Five are wrong.
Yours also five. You?
The five are wrong.
Five are wrong, but you have asked only 2 to 3 questions.
That I understood that wrong.
Question number 3 and 4 में किसी का डाउट है? Generally, if you observe that assumptions and logic, right, you would find out that assumption is called as an unstated region, right, that can be found out in the option, right, when the statement presented some kind of a region, right, so, but that region is not sufficient to means valid your conclusion, isn't it? Valid your conclusion. So in that case, we need to think about the assumption which will connect to the region with the conclusion, right? So therefore, we call it as a PAC. What do you mean by PAC? PAC. P for premise, C for conclusion. So in between P and C, you use the word called as assumption, right? So that makes a kind of a connection, PAC. Right, and assumption can be found out in each and every question, whether you talk about strengthening argument, or you talk about weakening argument, or you talk about flaw-based question, or you talk about what do we say that even in inference-based also. In inference means called as a, there also you draw the conclusion. But inference is what? Inference is generally following with the region, and on the basis of the region, whatever you draw, right? That is inference. Inference is unstated, whereas assumption is also unstated, but both have a different thought called as a assumption region होता है, inference आपका conclusion होता है, ठीक है? Fine, no issue. How much time we have left? 10 minutes. I just give you a couple of words, right, to think about your vocabulary development. What do you mean by nihilist? Nihilism or nihilist?
Negative about life.
Negative about life.
Negative about life.
Okay. Yeah. So on the basis of the tone, you can draw that it is a negative. Because you can also talk about annihilation. The meaning of annihilation is a destruction. So nihil is indicating as a somebody who have a harmful thought, right? Okay, so what do you think about Cassandra? Nihilist or nihilism. Then another one is called as a Cassandra.
Someone foreseeing something.
No, Cassandra is an eponym. Eponym. E-P-O-N-Y-M. What is eponym? We have couple of words like you can talk about quixotic, chauvinistic. We also call as a chimera. We also find out maverick. So maverick, chimera, chauvinistic, quixotic, nihilistic, Cassandra, all these are called as a negative words, right? But what are their meaning? If I talk about the maverick means
Expert.
yeah, expert, but at the same time means egoist, isn't it? You may be expert, but you are egoist, right? Can you form sentence using with maverick? I have given you the meaning. Maverick is a noun also, right? Noun बना दिया, meaning point out कर लिया. अभी अब एक sentence बताइए.
For Maverick,
Yeah.
because of his high IQ, he is a Maverick at chess.
Maverick
At chess.
at chess.
At chess. At chess.
At chess. Because of his.
High intelligence.
Okay. So you pointed that okay, he has the egoist attitude in at chess, isn't it? Because of his high attitude, means he is a maverick at chess. That is what the point. Good. But that point out that egoist at chess. But one side you are using intelligence, which is a positive, and maverick will be taken in that sentence as a positive.
He is just Maverick at chess. Just that.
So chimera is called as a mythological term, right? So again one of the eponym, right? So the chimera means called as an illusion, right? जो दिखता है वो है नहीं, right? It is a kind of a mythological term which reflect to an animal which have a different means shape belonging to different animals, isn't it? Like let's say that the tail becomes the serpent, tail become the serpent, snake. So and the legs are means maybe horses or maybe means elephants, right? The head becomes the lions, right? And the body becomes the means you can talk about any like horse or maybe elephant. So chimera is generally indicated as an illusion, right? It is again called as a noun. Form sentence with it.
It is a negative word.
Yeah, chimera is purely negative.
Doctor prescribed medicines for the patient's chimeric health issue.
Chimeric health situation.
Hallucination.
Hallucination. Okay, illusion. But hallucination and chimeric doesn't indicating the redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. Because one side you are saying that hallucination, the other side you are saying chimera.
Chimeric chimeric outbreak,
Chimeric outbreak.
chimeric attack.
Chimeric attack, yes. Hallucination attacks. Right, good. That can be possible answer. But again, here also you find out chimeric is used as an adjective. Isn't it? So think about that the word chimera will be used as a noun in the sentence. Like you can say that the chimera of life mostly means not understood by the experts. Right? The chimera of life not been understood by many. Right? So that can be called as the chimera of life. So chimera becomes the noun, isn't it? Okay. Chauvinistic. I think chauvinistic. Chauvinistic.
That is the adjective.
Chauvinistic is an adjective. Chauvinistic means called as a criticism. Chauvinistic, again negative word. Patriotic is also a kind of a negative. Nihilist is a negative. Cassandra, which is known as a nothing but called as a somebody who have a cursed life, like cursed life. Cassandra. Do you understand the word called as Jagannath? Okay, I give you means 4 words. You need to find out the odd one out. Right? 4 words. You need to find out the odd one out. The first one is called as a elephantine. Second one is called as a mammoth. So mammoth, M-A-M-M-O-T-H, mammoth. Third one is called as a cadaverous, C-A-D-A-V-E-R-O-U-S. Right. And the fourth one is Jagannath, J-U-G-G-E-R. Cadaverous. Do you know the meaning of that word?
But I know mammoth and juggernaut being huge in size.
So, and what about elephantine means also? Elephantine. Jagannath is called as generally we call huge or big, like in Rathatra we say Jagannath Jaga, right? And elephant forever that time. And cadaverous, let's see that here you find out some kind of a connection. Think of it, cadaverous.
Cadaver means dead body.
No, we will go for that. Cadaverous superciliousness, and the third one is called as pride. Very common term is given to you. Pride. Then fourth one is called as demure.
Oh, another set of words. Can you repeat?
Cadaverous,
Cadaverous.
supercilious, S-U-P-E-R-C-I-L-L-I-O-U-S, superciliousness, yes. Cadaverous, superciliousness, then you will find out pride, then after you find out despondency. Despondency, D-E-S-P-O-N-D-E-N-C-Y. Which one is the odd one? Let's see that how would you identify? Pride. No.